Reports came out earlier today of Deontay Wilder suffering a bicep injury a week prior to the Tyson Fury rematch, according to his own sparring partner, Junior Fall. This is what Deontay Wilder's sparring partner had to say, which I'll quote, "I think he did hurt himself toward the end of camp, which I don't think would have played too much into the fight. But then, I don't really know the extent of the damage of the injury that he sustained. What I do know is that he did get an injury, but I was very surprised by Fury's game plan. As soon as the fight started and I saw Fury not really taking a backward step, trying to push Wilder to the ropes, I was thinking, oh man, this is going to be a hard night for Wilder." End of the quote. Now, I do know a lot of fans are raising a lot of questions. Is this true? And many more other questions. So I'm about to put the whole truth together like puzzle. I do know one thing. Junior Fall is a really good fighter. I also know Deontay Wilder pretty much already confirmed this a long time ago when he did an interview with a PBC podcast. He revealed that he had to get a surgery done to his arm. But for further confirmation, I actually reached out to Tay Jones, which is a Deontay Wilder team member. And he revealed to me that Deontay Wilder tore his bicep from the bone the last day of sparring. And he also had to get a surgery done a couple days after the fight with Tyson Fury. Therefore, this is not Junior Fall blowing smoke at all. However, who is blowing smoke is old media. Old media is willing to talk about anything and everything but the real issue at hand, which is the glove gate, aka Tyson Fury tampered gloves, which he used against Deontay Wilder in the first fight and in the rematch. Glovegate 1.0 for the first Deontay Wilder fight, and Glovegate 2.0 for the rematch. As far as I know, this is nothing but deflection tactics / distractions from the real issue at hand. Old media is so desperate trying to get Deontay Wilder to speak about anything but the absolute truth of Tyson Fury cheating in both Deontay Wilder fights. They afraid of Deontay Wilder dropping the bomb squad on the mic, which eventually, that's exactly what they are going to get. Just like Tay Jones confirmed on Split Decision, Wilder has a huge announcement to make. So old media is going to get exactly what they've been afraid of. Now, how ironic is it that old media ran with this report? Every single old media outlet reported on Deontay Wilder sustaining an injury prior to the Tyson Fury rematch. However, when Deontay Wilder's life was at risk because of Tyson Fury cheating tactics, not even one single old media outlet reported on the news when this is their job. So obviously old media been exposed of having an agenda when it comes to these fighters on the hope list, since they have the best hope insurance in the world, which is better than Geico. And it ain't no coincidence, Deontay Wilder is on the coincidental list. So he's just gonna get treated just like the rest. So let's talk about the issue at hand, which is the bicep injury that Wilder sustained prior to the rematch. Now, first things first, I want you guys to answer this question in the comment section below. And also ask this question to anybody that you guys debate with, because you will put them in the corner. The question is, if you are in Deontay Wilder's position and you lost to Tyson Fury, would you blame the loss on your bicep injury that you sustained a week prior to the fight, where you completely torn the bicep from the bone, or would you blame the loss on a costume? Again, the question is as clear as day. If you are going to make an excuse, would you make the excuse based on the bicep injury you sustained or on a costume? And the answer is pretty simple. Obviously, the bicep injury. I'll bring up this point and I'll raise the question to expose Lance Pugmire. For the people that's not familiar with Lance Pugmire, this is the writer that lied on Deontay Wilder's behalf, claiming that he actually interviewed Wilder on the phone after the Tyson Fury lost, which he reported that Deontay Wilder informed him by blaming the Tyson Fury loss on the costume. Lance Pugmire later on claimed that Deontay Wilder was falling to depression, etc., 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 which every single thing he reported was a lie, because Tay Jones even exposed him on split decision, which I'm going to leave the interview in the comment section below. So this is the writer responsible for lying on Deontay Wilder's behalf and having every single media outlet report on a fake news claiming that Wilder blamed the loss on a costume, which is completely BS. Because if you think about it, if Wilder wanted to make an excuse, he would have had blamed the loss on the bicep injury instead of the costume. But being the warrior that Wilder is, he blamed it on neither one of those two things. However, we all know the real reason why Wilder lost to Fury. If you've been living under a rock, it's because of Tyson Fury tampered gloves that caused the dent on Deontay Wilder's head. But how ironic is it? The old media report on a lie when it comes to a costume excuse, but doesn't report on Deontay Wilder's life being at risk due to Tyson Fury cheating by tampering with his glove, causing a dent on Deontay Wilder's head. The double standards is out of this world. So let's talk about the issue at hand, which is the bicep injury that Wilder sustained the last time he sparred prior to the Tyson Fury rematch. See, to me, this is really not a big deal. Deontay Wilder fought with injuries in the past and still prevailed. Deontay Wilder talked about on more than one occasion him being not 100% every time he stepped in the ring. He's always sustaining multiple injuries, in fact. However, you have to find a way to win. You're not always 100% every time you step in the ring. So to me, this is not a big deal, like I stated before. Now, I could honestly say it will have definitely benefited Wilder if he didn't sustain this injury before the fight. However, the issue with Wilder wasn't his bicep, wasn't the costume. What was wrong with Wilder is Tyson Fury gloves that made him punch like the Iron Mike Tyson, when Tyson Fury is the pillow-fisted puncher of them all. So at this point, who really cares what Wilder sustained before the fight with Fury? That ain't Fury's fault, is it? Things happen, and Wilder is not 100% most of the times Wilder stepped into the ring. That's what comes with the territory and the sport of boxing. But what is Fury's fault is him resorting to cheating in order to get the W. That's why Tyson Fury is the cheater of the century, trying to take Wilder's life away, putting Wilder's life in jeopardy. So when this is all settled, Fury will go down as the cheater of the century. Meanwhile, Wilder will go down as the warrior of the century. Deontay Wilder was willing to go out on his shield in the rematch when Tyson Fury was cheating. And according to Wilder, he was willing to die in the ring. That's how much of a warrior Wilder is. Wilder could have blamed the loss on many things. However, he chose not to blame it, not even on a single thing. Meanwhile, old media want to talk about anything and everything. But the one thing, the real issue at hand, which is Tyson Fury tampered gloves, aka the glove gate. Last but not least, since old media is so desperate trying to get Wilder to speak, I'm going to leave you guys with what Wilder said last on PBC podcast, which I quote, "There's a lot of things that I don't even want to talk about at this moment in time. I'm still reflecting on certain things, and I can't believe the things that happened to me. And they happened to me at that point in time in my career. Maybe I will come out with some things later on as things unfold when I get into camp. But I don't want to talk about it at the moment in time. I'm still reflecting on it and figuring some things out." End of the quote. This is the same interview Wilder stated he felt like a zombie in the rematch. And you best believe Wilder put everything together like puzzle that he was reflecting on and trying to figure out. So you guys could play dumb and silly for the moment, but what happens in the dark will eventually come to light. 3 things that could never ever be hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. They will eventually come out. It's just destiny. With that being stated, subscribe below if you're trying to get smart about the minute. If you're trying to get dumb about a second, don't, and listen to these decavs, the dumb casual ass fans that don't know shit about boxing. Word to Roger Mayweather, may he rest in peace, inshallah. And shout out to my broski, my own Akhi Deontay, for being the entrepreneur of new media that I'm a part of. The real media that talk about the real issues in boxing. So with that being stated, if you are a casual fan and you want to be a hardcore, all you have to do is click on the notification bell to get notified every time I post or go live on Split Decision. It's a boxing debate / talk show, mixed, master, engineered, produced by yours truly, Akhi, the past, present, and future undisputed. Pound for pound when it comes to debating. I got these decafs shook. They scared to look every time Akhi's on TV, because the decaf's kryptonite is the truth, which is exactly why these decafs are afraid to call in. They be acting like they have female parts because they don't have the cojones to debate Akhi, since they stay eating that wild boar, that contaminated meat that's not allowing their cojones to grow. Therefore, join me on Split Decision. It's a boxing debate / talk show. The show called Split Decision because there's 2 sides to every story. However, when the truth is spoken, the other side is nothing but a lie. Therefore, it could be my take, your take, but the truth take separate. That's why these decafs are afraid to call in, because when they bring their emotional opinion to the table, facts trump that any day of the week. So to all the recaps come out of the closet, opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one. Some opinions are bigger than most, just like some a-holes are bigger than most. And to coon punch, if you have cojones, call in. Quit clout chasing off my name. We all know you have female parts. So if you want to prove us wrong, call in, which you obviously won't, because you are afraid to get exposed. You are afraid of the real men, because you are an emotional female. With that being stated, I appreciate every single one of my Akhis. I've been overwhelmed by the love and support. So join me every Sunday or Monday, depending on my schedule, on Split Decision. And also every Wednesday or Thursday on Boxing Hood, the Brotherhood of Boxing. Therefore, the best way to keep up with your brother Akhi is by clicking on the notification bell to get notified every time I post or go live. With that being stated, to be continued on the next episode of Akhi TV. Peace, and we out here.